Okay. So it's indeed a pleasure to be with you, and I'm happy that you are able to make it to this class, and I believe that we will be with you for the next 12 weeks, where we'll be sharing this together. I briefly want to introduce International Leadership University and also get to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Heglon Kitawi, and my role at the International Leadership University is I'm charged with leading the TLC. This is the Transforming Leadership Center. And the Transforming Leadership Center is our arm for short courses. And short courses get to augment the academic courses. At the International Leadership University, we've been around for the last 43 years. We used to go by the name of NIST, Nairobi International School of Theology. And it is in 2014 when we changed the name to ILU, International Leadership University, to conform with our change status, where we were no longer narrowly focusing on as a graduate school of theology, but now we added 2 other schools, retaining the Graduate School of Theology as one school, that is the School of Theology and Practical Ministry. And with it, we added the School of Leadership and Governance, and we also added the School of Education and Social Sciences. And within the academic courses, we follow the Kenyan law or the Kenyan guidelines towards being allowed to do courses. So we run our courses from certificate, diploma, bachelor's, master's, and PhD. And with you the barrier, what requires you for entry is that you meet the requirements that are also part of what has been laid out within the Kenyan law, or what is required by the Commission of University Education. And it's a pleasure that we get to host our partner in running this course, a certificate course in personal financial investment and retirement planning. And it falls within the TLC, that is the Transforming Leadership Center. And the short courses are in no way inferior to the academic courses. What we are very careful about at ILU is that we get to utilize trainers who have the requisite skills. In fact, many of our courses that we run are taught by teachers who are already teaching at the bachelor's, master's, and PhD level. And so as we begin this course, this is to assure you that you will be getting excellent information. You will be taught by excellent teachers. And even for me, over my course of learning, I've learned that it's not so much about the course, it's so much about who teaches you, because they are able to take you through a path, to be able to go to those areas that will be able to give you the requisite skills, practical and also theoretical, so that you can be able to gain more. And of course, your role as a student is to ask, to probe, to question, so that you can gain the most from this course. And so for today, as Simon will be sharing, it is an induction to get you a taste of what you will be getting for the next 12 weeks. And I believe that we'll be able to register, and we'll be giving you more information on how you're able to do that if you've not done. And of course, it also means paying up. We've given you an option of paying part payment so that you can be able to continue with this course. So as TLC, we not only run courses in personal financial investment, but we also have other courses. We have, and I'll be giving a list of the courses that we have, but in short, we have courses in project management. We have courses in monitoring and evaluation. We have courses in leadership, results-driven leadership. We have courses in psychology. We have courses in mediation, and it's a whole array of courses being taught at different times, and being taught at different modes, combining both either fully online or a combination of both, or physical. Next week, we'll be launching a very exciting course. We've called it Gemology and Jewelry. If to the best of my knowledge, it's not being taught anywhere else, and it's to give you skills in the area of understanding what gemstones are, and knowing what they are and their qualities, and also having some practical skills in jewelry. So I'll stop there and allow my colleague, Simon, to take over as he gives us a taste of what is coming for the next 12 weeks. Over to you, Bwana Simon.
Thank you
Bwana
very
Simon,
much.
you're muted.
No. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Kitawi, for just giving a brief, because you are our host, and therefore you also take a lot of, you enjoy the privileges. Now, allow me to take you through what we have prepared for you today, which is basically a certificate course in personal, financial, and investment retirement planning. This course is a 12 weeks course, and I'll be able now to go through it. And part of the agenda today is essentially that is our course outline today, where we have already made a prayer. The other one will be induction program and the course overview, which I'll be able to take you through. That is according to the flyers that I shared. Then we'll also have a look at the objectives of the course and the expected outcomes. There'll be also introduction. I'll be able to introduce the subject matter experts who are our trainers. And of course, there are profiles of the subject matter, which we have already, I'll be able to demonstrate to show who they are. Then I will give my co-presenters, that is in each of those trainers, I'll give them a few minutes just to give an overall of what issues are, what are they going to cover, so that you can have at least a taste of what you're waiting when you enroll. And then after they have presented, the other question will be what next? I'll be able actually to be able to tell that the classes begins on 21st May, which is actually coming Tuesday. Of course, I have already indicated their commitment of at least 10K to qualify. Then we'll also talk something about financial and retirement clinics, that is coaching and mentorship. And I will also be able to have what we call a special purpose email address, so that any area of training that you think you need further clarification or you need to work with you, you can be able to email us in those particular emails. And we'll be able to help you, especially when it comes to taking action. And of course, at the tail end, we shall have the questions and answers. We are planning to have at least our talk should not go beyond have about answer and to respond to the questions that you think you need better answers. I will just some of the ground rules. I would request that all of us will remain muted so that we may not have much interruption. And if there be any question that may come up, I would suggest that you also you help us. You are also able to put in a chat box. We have one of the team members who is actually be looking at and bringing out what is in the chat box, and we can be able to address them. I think those are good ground rules that we need to follow. So that is good. And so next, what are these basic course objectives and expected outcomes? For all those who are listening, this course aims to equip participants with the knowledge, skill, and tools to transform their financial well-being. That means there'll be a lot of impartation of knowledge because there'll be principles and fundamentals that will be shared. We'll also equip you on how you should be able to apply that knowledge, and we'll equip you with the tools on how you can easily be able to put that knowledge into practice. And that is the reason why we have said that it should be a very holistic course for anybody who is going to dare register and go with us. The other objective is basically aim to create impact in the society and help individuals in their journey for financial independence. We are actually in the business of making sure that you are financially independent. Like independence, we talk about you are free of debt. You are talking about that you have enough money even to your retirement, that you are not struggling financially. The other core objective there is actually to build sustainable financial discipline and the saving culture. And that will be able to, this will be able to help you. And one of my trainers here will actually be able to bring out articulate financial discipline and the saving culture that will be able to help us propel ourselves into gaining or building wealth for the future. The other core objective basically is also to equip participants to make sound investment decisions. One of the areas that we are biased is to help you, what do you need to know all about investment? And of course, we'll be able also to be able to have part of landscape of investment landscape in Kenya, where are the areas you can invest in. We'll give you knowledge on about different investment instruments that are now available in the market. And we'll actually have some of the, what we call the industry captains, will actually be able to be with us. And we'll be able to articulate that better. Of course, we also need to equip participants to manage personal debts. This is a big, and this has been a big mess because of availability of easy money online. And this has messed most of the people and having money that they cannot even be able to pay. Equip participants on how to mitigate risks in life. Again, we'll be able to go through it well. And at the end of it all, we'll also provide options and available instruments in the market that you can be able to make use of so that you can transfer your risk or you can share your risk. And finally, there we have to prepare participants for decent retirement. It's a desire for every person. Every person who is either working or is deploying the work actively would like at the sunset years, when you don't have the same energy, it is our desire that we prepare our participants to be able now to get to the retirement properly. And we have one of the facilitators who will also be telling us more about retirement and how you can prepare for it. And therefore, this is the right time. Even those who have retired, there's still a room we can be able to make a difference. I have put there just to put what the courses is all about, just to a bit of emphasis. Today was basically just to induct you that the various topics that you'll be handling in this course will be purely financial planning and discipline, savings, debt management, investments, retirement planning, and integrity. And you'll be able, today you have an opportunity to hear from our experts in each of those topics in brief. And this will help you to make informed decisions on which direction you want to take. And I believe at the end of this, we'll have persuaded you enough that this is the place that you need to be, and you'll be able to work with us in the next 12 weeks. On the right, there is a full sessions from session 1 to session 12. And part of that is introduction to personal financing and planning, which will also incorporate discipline, and also fundamentals of saving and laws of money, which will also far and wide will also cover the financial discipline and the saving, and including the instruments that are supposed to be able to help you save money. Practical ways to engage with institutions offering instruments for savings by industry experts, and we'll be able to help you to tell you what is actually in the market, what is the rate of return like, and it is able to tell us, to give us what you need to do. Of course, session 5 will be more about also investments. We have actually session 4, what you need to know about investments, and you'll be able to get a bit of glimpse of that from today's talk. And then we'll also in session 5, you'll be able to say investment options. What are the products in the market? Can we be able to get expert advice in different ways, in money markets, in real estate, in agriculture, all those areas where you think there is investment potential, we should be able to share along this particular course. Session 6, we shall be able to cover risk management and mitigation. You may realize that part of the things that we are having currently is there are too many risks, and if you don't know how to mitigate them, all the efforts and a lot of work you have done in the past of savings and building wealth can easily be brought down by an event that is not foreseen. And therefore, we don't want to be ignorant. We want also to be more proactive in mitigating risk. And in session 7, we shall be able to cover the perspectives and advice from basically insurance industry is the one that is mandated to be able to run with the mitigation, or they are the ones who accept to take on risk. And we should be able to see some of the key products and features that are in the market that suits your needs. Then session 8, we shall look at the fundamentals and introduction of retirement planning and retirement by a retirement expert. And we have one of us who is actually going to take us through what we need to do to prepare for retirement, and those who are already there, what options are available. And of course, there'll be an aspect of where we call it the Retirement Academy, which is intertwined with our financial clinics that will be able to help you get there. Of course, emerging trends and cross-cutting issues. We'll be able to actually tell where are things heading, where are we heading to, what are the things that we need to invest on, what are the areas that we need to be cautious about, and it will be an interesting session. Then the last 2 sessions, there'll be integrity and also stewardship. Those are the core courses that are run by ILU, and this will be able to help you make good decisions and become a rounded person. Allow me now to make a short introduction of the trainers, and starting with myself. I hold a Bachelor of Commerce with a Master's the University of Nairobi, and I'm also a certified public accountant, have been out there. Now, the next subject matter expert is Mr. Ruben Bindu. This is one of the person who is a retired banker with 17 years experience in personal finance coaching. Retired banker for 28 years. He have done a lot of people management for the last 18 years. He is very good also in risk management and leadership and management. And he'll be able to join us shortly to explain more about personal finance, especially in this regard. Then we have our Dr. Hebron Kitawi, whom we are together, who he has been having 20 years of mainly church work and Christian humanitarian work. He has a PhD in theology from the World Christianity. And of course, he has served in different communities and is currently trained facilitator for transformational leadership, as he had introduced himself. I think that is part of further ado. I don't want to give more because he's already explained himself. We have also Dr. Thomas Mumanyi, who is a communication specialist as well, but he has been in the area of retirement for the last 10 years. He has been preparing for this, and that is, he'll tell us more about what he has prepared in his academy. And therefore, I want to now invite my co-presenters so that I want to invite now Mr. Ruben Bindu. He will be able to take at least 25 to 30 minutes because he have quite a chunk to cover. And we'll be able to talk more about financial discipline, debt management, and investment. Then I'll come in to do what we call share on risk management. And of course, Dr. Kitawi will come in. And finally, we have Dr. Mumanyi sharing on that. And therefore, allow me to put his presentation so that he can be able to take up. There you go. Ruben.
Yes,
Ruben,
good evening, everyone.
now, can you take it up now?
Yes, I can. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
That's good. Can you put the slides in slide mode, please? So as it does that, yeah, my name is Ruben Bindu. I'm a retiree. Sorry for Simon having disappointed you, showing a much younger picture of me. That is when I was still working, maybe 3-4 years ago. Just for a bit of background, I'm a computer engineer by profession, but I spent most of my time as a human capital engineer. In other words, I was heading the HR function for Stanchart and also for Equity Group. The personal finance, if you may allow me just to tell you a little bit about it. First of all, I was trained by the technical people in German. And so my approach is always from a practical perspective to try and understand what the problems are and how we resolve those issues. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes to give you a flavor of what we're going to be talking about in the next few sessions. The session might not follow exactly as they've been outlined in the course outline, because I'll try to bring the interrelationships to ensure that we are able to benefit from that. So why the personal finance training? The reason why I got to this space is that As you know, most of us, we finish our university, we get a job, we start working, we progress with our career. We get to the level that we are very successful. You could be a director and so forth. And a lot of times we don't even think about, we don't do forward thinking. We just do a day by day. And so for me, my story is actually the same, that I rose all the way from a junior person and here became a director of human resources. And one day what happened for me was just a shock, was that 2004, when I had just about 11 years to retire, that time the retirement was 55 years. My son was born, my last born was born. And that is where I sat down and wondered, if I'm retiring at 55, my son is going to be 11 years old. He's going to be in class 5 at best. Who is going to pay school fees from here, class 6, all the way to university? And that is something very real with many people today, because we never think forward. We say we behave as if everything is going to be okay tomorrow. And that is the issue that I would like us to address, that most of us, when we talk about financial freedom, we are moving from that situation where you have to worry about the future, but you are very comfortable. Just like the Bible says, you should not be anxious about anything. So it will also allow me sometimes, if there are Muslims here, I don't know, but I refer to the Bible a lot, because there's a lot of principles about life in the Bible. And most of us are Christian. If you're not a Christian, read the Bible as a book and you get some of the principles. So why the personal finance training? So the key thing for me, that you look at the life we are living today, is full of consumption. It's about consumption. That it is increasing day and day. We are focusing on today, not tomorrow. And the other thing is that there's a lot of pressure. Today we hear people say that we have got people like about clubs called VW, Volkswagen, a club, Mercedes club. And most of those ones is about enjoying ourselves, because we live for the moment. It's not a bad thing. The only thing you need to be clear in your mind is that as you do that, you have got your life sorted out. And so this program is going to help you to get to that level where you're thinking about the journey you're walking, so that you prepare yourself adequately, you prepare yourself, you carry the tools you need, you collaborate with the people that you need to collaborate with, you acquire the knowledge you need, the skills you need, so that at the end of the day, you can live a less stressful life. If you look around, money has become a status symbol, and that's why there's corruption in this, and you're going to talk about integrity later. Some of this corruption is driven by the desire to be seen, to have money, to be able to do the things that other people are doing. Yeah. So again, there's also the element of lack of knowledge and skills, which is why this program is coming in, to equip you so that you make the right decisions. We say that if you are going for a journey and you are not aware about the destination you are going and where you are, the two positions are very important. Where you are starting your journey and where you are going, then nobody can help you. And it's my prayer that everybody listening today, and as we go through this program, that you are going to identify where you are today financially and where you want to be, so that we can start connecting those two dots by finding the ways that will take you there. Because unless you know where you're going, nobody can help you. And any path you take, it is good enough because it will take you there. Where is that? Nowhere, because you don't know where you're going. The other thing that is also around us, and just as I was waiting, I'm seeing messages coming in from a lot of people, fintechs, the banks, they're busy sending you, telling you, don't have stress. Just if take 15,000 shillings, just go to M-Pesa and have 15,000 shillings to spend. And that is becoming the life that we are living today. But that is called debt. You are getting yourself to debt. They're enticing you with things that you might want. They are telling you it's time to pay school fees. No, just take a loan, pay your school fees, and you're stress-free. Actually, what happens, you've got more stress. The key thing is planning for the future to ensure that by the time of paying school fees, you are very clear where the money is going to come from. And if you are going to borrow, then you're also borrowing, knowing that you have understood your cash flows and you're able to match that. So you never find yourself in that kind of a situation. Just a slide back, please. I'm not reading slides, I'm talking, so don't look for the messages where they're coming from. They're actually on the same slide because that slide is very loaded. So what you're going to be doing, given those issues I've just spoken about the way, the kind of environment we are in, we are going to talk about the things Simon alluded to, the financial discipline. How do we develop a discipline around finances? If you want to be good in anything, you must practice. And the discipline, that's where athletes, they wake up 3 in the morning to go and run because they've got something they need to do. But the most important thing when we start talking about finances is that what I've spoken about, destination. What is your vision? What is it that you want to achieve? Where do you want to end up? Because then we can start practicing for that. And so develop that financial discipline so that when people come to tell you this and that, you're able to say, no, that is not part of my plan. That is taking me away from my direction I was going. I was going to Kisumu, but you're telling me to go to Mandera. I'm sorry, I cannot come with you. Then the peer pressure will disappear, the society pressure will disappear because you've been in control of your destiny. After we have acquired that, if we don't acquire financial discipline, debt management and investments actually become very difficult. And that's where today, I think Simon alluded, there are so many people who are in debt because the debt is very easily accessible. But you had a financial discipline. You know when to borrow and when to pay because you borrow based on your cash flow, you borrow based on your ability to pay so that you don't get into the debt trap. Debt is not bad. As you know, there's no organization, successful organization in the world that does not borrow. But what they borrow is they borrow having looked at their cash flows to ensure that they're able to meet their obligation, but they're able also to meet. And we'll talk a little bit more about debt, how you can use debt, but we'll also talk about how do you get out of debt in case you're in that trap at the moment. So those are some of the things you're going to go deeper as we go through this course. And the last thing then is the investment. The reason why those 3 blocks have been put like that is because our mind at the moment is all over. And what I would like us to achieve at the end of the day is that pyramid becoming a full pyramid. That we have got a financial discipline is the biggest part you must have. Debt management is good because it can enable to go to investment. When you don't have the discipline around debt management and discipline about investment, you'll invest and actually find that the money you're investing yesterday was actually the money you are supposed to have paid somebody yesterday and dead. So in other words, there's no investment. We need to come out of that illusion at the time you finish this program. And it'll give you a lot of practical things challenges that you need to think through. We give you tools to ensure that you're able to manage those things because attaining the discipline, it must be practiced. It can't just be taught. I was told in my university time, I was told not only how to do things, but I was also told why I do those things. But the moment you understand why you do those things, then it's very easy. You'll never be told by somebody you can do it and then you follow because you know you'll ask that question, why should I do it? And that way, then you always make the right decision. So at the end of this program about personal finance training that we will facilitate, and some of it will be by Simon, you should be able to understand the key financial management principles and you'll be able to identify gaps in your daily management process, how you manage your finances today, so that you can rectify that. You'll become more conscious about making decisions. I always tell people this, it is not about how much money you earn, but it's about how much of that money you save and invest. Yeah. And the Bible tells us that. If you read Ecclesiastes 2:11, it says, you do save 7 or 8 because you do not know what will come upon the land in the future. So it's important for us to know, be conscious of the decision we make and how they're going to affect us. Understand also the consequences related to those choices because every choice has got a consequence. So we must be prepared. And we should, by the time we finish, we should be able to say no to some things that we are not able to do, and to be able to say no to persuasions, enticements that we are coming by other friends because they are friends. Sometimes we want to maintain social, we are talking about social capital. We are building social capital, but actually you are, that social capital is draining you financially to the level that when the financial side disappears, the social capital also disappears because your friends disappear. Those in retirement will tell you that when you are working, we had very many people. You will get 10, 20 calls in a day. Most of them asking, but the moment you retire, you are lucky if you get 2 calls in a week. That is the reality of life, and we must get to start in real life. So we'll be also able to apply debt effectively for wealth creation, because debt is good if it is applied for wealth creation. But there are some things we have to look at before we apply the debt. What are the risks? What are the returns, and so forth? And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And we'll also be able to ensure that if you have got an existing situation, we can cure it. Be able to come out of that. I did talk about personal finance with a group of employees for one of the organizations. And before I finish the presentation on debt management, somebody put in the chat that I've been contemplating to commit suicide. I've got 4 children, I'm a widow, and I can't manage life. How can you help? And today I can report that I've worked with that lady. The kids are finishing school. She has become very stable financially. She's got no worries anymore. It is possible, but it's only possible if we actually attain the discipline that we need, and then apply debt to the right uses, or get ourselves out of it, and then be able to apply. A lot of us, we are not able to invest because what you invested yesterday, it was not supposed to be invested. It was supposed to be consumed, but you cheated yourself. When I started working, the first thing I did was to tell my wife that we are going to open a joint account, savings account. And I'll put a standing order of 2,000 shillings every month so that our daughter, by the time she's 3 years, we'll go 72,000 shillings to take her to a nursery school. Guess how much was there after 3 years? 10,000 shillings. Why? Because the savings I was making was not supposed to be saving. It was supposed to be consumed. So I went back and brought it back to where it's supposed to be. And that's why there was only 10,000 shillings at the end of the 3 years. And so what we did, we made a decision and said there's no more savings, because we are lying to ourselves. It's good to know psychologically that we have got no savings. Then you deal our issues. And I can tell you more as we go through. So I'll use a lot of examples, real examples, for some of them personal, because the reason why I talk about personal finance is because of the experience I went through and how I got to learn how to manage finances. And I've spoken to more than over 5,000 people, and some of them will give you testimonies of, wow, I've changed their lives. So we'll talk about those, but at the end of the day, the decision remains yours. Mine is just to facilitate and guide you on the areas that I think you need to focus on as far as your personal finance is concerned. So at the end of the day, then you'll be able to make sound investment decisions, not decisions which are driven by euphoria. Some of them coming through pyramid schemes. Pyramid schemes are con schemes. I will call them con schemes. Why? They are made so sweet that you are convinced there is no risk. And an investment has got 2 elements. You are looking for a return, but the return comes with a risk. There is no investment without a risk. And that means that if you want to get a good return, you must also be prepared to go for high risk. And so what we try and teach you is how do you then sit down and understand your risk profile so that you can manage your greed. Yeah. When you balance your return and then you have managed your greed. A lot of times where we burn our fingers is because the greed means that we are more driven by the returns and we totally ignore the risk. Then there we got a problem. Then we end up losing money. So those are the things we're going to talk about. And I'm sure that you who are listening to me today, you're going to be smart enough to avoid the vices of depression, mental health because of finances. You're going to avoid hatred between you and your colleagues because you borrowed from somebody and could not pay, between you and your siblings because you borrowed everybody and you cannot pay them. And even sometimes people have been murdered. having taken things they can. People have divorced. I've dealt with cases of divorce, almost divorce. Couples wanting to divorce. Why? I don't know where my husband takes the money. I'm the one who is taking care of the family. He doesn't meet his obligation. I can't give you the money like that. And then you talk with the man and say, what is the issue? Why do you take the money? And you've been able to bring those people together and move on with the life. That is what drives me to talk about it. Yeah. And some people have been also forced to steal. You're working somewhere and you're busy cutting corners because somebody outside is telling you, don't come out unless you come out with my money. The Shylocks are out there. So that is the purpose of this program that we are going to go through. We'll take you more in the details of each element. I just want to touch an element of each of them. But at the end of the day, I'd like you to see that pyramid becoming a pyramid. At the moment, it's not. Those three segments should come together. That you feel that I've got the dispute before I get to date. There's no part which is hanging outside the dispute. There's no dispute. As I get to investments, I'm looking at it that is totally sitting on my financial dispute. And actually, debt becomes a very good source for me to do investment. And that will be what I'm promising you as we go through this. So I'd like to stop there and maybe just pick a few questions. Maybe later back to Simon, because he's facilitating. I think he said question at the end. But please post your question to the chat if they're there, and then we'll be able to respond. So please remember that we are going to bring that potential you've got. All of us have got a potential. Matthew 25:14 says, everybody was given according to their ability. And I would like to ensure that you guys, you have used that ability God has given you and the time God has given us. But there's something that God says that we must work on. God, our conduct. If you read Jeremiah 17:10, it says, I, the Lord, examines your mind and searches your heart to reward you according to your conduct and your deeds. We'll touch more on that as we move on. Thank you very much and God bless.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that very articulate, and I believe each and every one of you is able to understand that personal finance is actually very personal. And all of us, we have as many different experiences as we are. And therefore, it is important that all of us, we should be able to get ourselves into personal finance. Personally, I can be able to say that it's not that I've been a very good personal person who have managed finance so well. Despite being a financial management consultant, I struggled with the personal finance for so long. And I can tell you, I made very bad investment decisions. And some of them have really affected even my liquidity and cash flow. So part of these things, sometimes it gives us a turning point when we experience certain things that are undesirable. And I believe each one of you have a story to tell. And I know as we go along the journey together, I'm sure some of you are going to share some of those stories, even when we share a bit of the stories of what really need to be done. Now, I want to quickly be able also to have a look at areas of risk management. Then I'll be able to invite my friend Kitawi to take it up. I just want to say that in personal finance, there is a lot of area that you need to look into is the risk. And that's why we have all these insurance companies that are over, I think they're over 30 in Kenya, and globally there are many, but they are just meant to manage risk. And therefore, part of the things you'll be able to see, what are these risks that you need to? And therefore, I want just to say that it is important for us to what you call transfer risk or even share risk. But don't be able to assume risk. Some of these we think that we are so bold. But I want to tell you for sure that in today's world, you cannot ignore the impact of financial risk in our lives, because there are so many things that we don't have control over. And therefore, it is important for you to think, which are some of these risks that I have not been able to mitigate. And I've seen that some of them, either you have employed and must find yourself, your income is lost. Sometimes your health risk, you are sick and you cannot be able to get proper medication. Sometimes there is an accident has happened, there is a premature death happening to a person who is the breadwinner. There is investment that goes under. And all those things is important for you actually to look at, how do I be able to mitigate it? So what do I need to do basically in risk? Basically, you need to reduce it. You need to avoid it as much as possible. If you can eliminate it altogether, you can also accept about it, or you can share transfer. These are different options. And we'll be able now to navigate and be able to understand, how do we go about this? How do I go about it? And how do I go about it? And part of these things, we have so many institutions that are basically domiciled to do the issues of risk. And part of that, I have just put a sample of some of those in the market. We have like Jubilee Insurance for Health, which has anything to do with the health insurance, and these are the available. We also have what you call life, for those people who needs a life insurance for education, for self, for endowment. We have others like Prudential, who also have very good products. We have Madison, and we have APSA. APSA have life. All these aspects, they really help you to be able to make, and will be able to help you. And we work also through with the GTI insurance agency that also helps to be able to advise each individual person depending on the level of their risk and the nature of their risk. So it is important that you be able to get this in place. Allow me, because this is part of the greater things that we need to accomplish, we need to, one of the things, and I'll be able to bring this, is that just in case there are issues that you would like settled even in the process, I will provide very important email addresses that will actually be able to help us to be able to mitigate them. And therefore, this course particularly, that it will not only help you to develop financial discipline, to save, and also to invest, but also to make sure that wealth is protected. And that's part of the conversation that we shall be having around this time. Allow me now to bring in Dr. Kitawi in the next 15 minutes, just to give us a key highlight of what is expecting in terms of integrity and in terms of stewardship, which is the flagship product basically for ILU. Dr. Kitawi, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Yes, please take it away.
I believe you can see me.
Sure, we can see you.
All right.
We can only see you part of the head.
Oh, wait, I need to adjust so that
That's better.
you can see me well. Let me. Yes, I can see. All right. Actually, I'll not take 15 minutes. Mine will be very short because we will have 2 sessions where we'll be talking about stewardship in relation to especially savings, but also on integrity. And so what I'm going to take you through is just a taste. And maybe for you to question yourself, to go home with a question and to reflect on it. And I will use the analogy of a tree. And when we think of a tree, it has key parts. A tree has roots, a tree has a stem which holds, a tree has branches, and the branches have leaves, and a tree also has fruit. And when we look and when we think about the roots, normally the roots are hidden. And so if you have a picture of this big tree, very green, you know, it has set its roots. Think of the roots as beliefs. Beliefs are hidden, but they are the ones which control all that which we do. But many times, just having beliefs is not a guarantee that they will lead us to the right place. For those who read the Bible, there is a part of the Bible which says the demons believe that Jesus is the Lord, and I'm paraphrasing, and they shudder. And the next question you ask is, how come they have that knowledge, yet that knowledge doesn't lead them into action? Or you may, maybe that may be a bit spiritual for you, but let's come to what we are talking about. Many of us have money. In fact, no one will say they don't have money. And I've not mentioned amounts. But how come even when someone talks to you about savings, that it just having the knowledge about savings does not lead you to save? And that's what we are talking about, beliefs. Beliefs is knowledge. Beliefs is knowing something. But that means there is something more than belief that needs you to move you to a place where you can put some action. And so if you move with me, if beliefs are the roots, then the stem of this huge tree that I'm painting to you are the values. In Swahili, you'll talk of kile unacho thamini, that which you take seriously is separate from that which you believe. That means you're moving from knowledge, then you move to value, that which you hold dear. And something becomes dear to you because it has moved from the level of belief, it has moved to the level of values. And that's why even at International Leadership University, we say that we are seeking to grow people who have values, people who hold something seriously. But then to connect it, and then I'll come back to it again, is if you continue with me in my tree, if the stem is the value, then, and you know, the roots are the beliefs, and then the stem channels the nutrients, and the nutrients go to the branches, and the branches, the leaves now produce the fruit. And so the third level is the behavior, and the behavior is the fruit, meaning that which you believe, if you take it seriously, then you'll produce the required fruit. And that is what we are seeking. If you're working with me in the example I gave about savings, is you may know that it is important to save, or even you may know that it is important to get out of debt. But until you start taking things seriously, that is values, then these values are the ones which lead you to action. And that action produces fruit, and not only to you, but also to a group. And so, in fact, the best way of looking at it, many times we tend to look at the fruit. What is it that a person has done? And so you will go to your friend and tell them, wow, you are able to build that house. Wow, you're able to do that degree. Wow, you're able to take your kids to school. How did you do it? So that is the fruit. So we start at the top, and then we need to go back to the stem, and we need to go back to the roots, because it is in taking the knowledge leads you to the attitude, the right attitude, and the right attitude leads you to the right behavior, and the right behavior produces the right fruit. And so this is just a taste of what we'll be talking about. We'll be able to expound it in 2 sessions that we, as ILU, we've been given the 11th and the 12th session, and we'll be able to discuss more. And especially, you'll have interacted very well with the material. And so the word of God comes to buttress that which we have learned. And so I do not want to take more of the time, because it is important we ask all the relevant questions, and these questions now will lead us to the session, the first session that will start next week. So over to you, Bwana Kimani, to guide us in how we will answer the questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kitawi, for that. I believe it is resonated to all of us that we know, and we know exactly it's good to save, but even when we don't save, what is this that hinders us actually from actually doing it? And perhaps those are the many questions that have never been addressed anywhere, even in the pulpit, in the churches you go, in the mosque, or anywhere else. Most of these things remain completely unanswered. And therefore, if you are curious to know why is it that even if I have money, sometimes I actually don't know where it goes and I can't account for it, I think you'll be able to get more answers even as you join us in this journey. Now, I want us to shift gear, and I want to hear about retirement. I know part of the retirement thing is really an issue. And we would like just to, and I want to invite my friend, Dr. Thomas Mumanyi, to be able to come on board, and we'll be able now to share this together. And then you'll be able to also take 15 minutes. He'll take us through. Then from there, we have at least a good time for us to ask questions. And therefore, and then from there, I'll be able to tell us what next after this. Momanyi, are you there? Dr. Momanyi, can you help whether can you unmute yourself? I think for some reason, I don't know why he is not able to get. Now, as you wait for him to come back, allow me to take you through what is next so that we can be taking questions on this. Alternatively, I can be able to open for at least 5 questions, either directed to Dr. Kitawi or to Ruben in the meantime, as we wait for this other gentleman to come on board. Please just raise your hand.
You can raise your hand, or you can put your question in the chat.
Yes. And you can unmute at least as long as we are audible, you can easily be able to hear your question. Any question so far as we find out where this other person is? No questions.
Can I ask verbally?
Yes, you can. Please do. Go ahead.
Thank you. And I really appreciate the presentation myself. My ask is, when you think about saving, and there are a lot of analogies on how much you should save, how much you should spend, how much you should invest. When you look at loan repayments, are those looked at as savings, or are they liabilities, or what would they be if someone were to analyze their status in terms of how well they are doing in savings? Where would the loan repayments be? Because I have met people who are quite overborrowed, and they really struggle to meet their needs because of the over commitment on loans, and then you are like, how do you create that picture to show them how to release? It's quite tricky, but I hope I have said something in asking my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Charity. That is one. Ruben, you'll be taking notes. Next one. Anybody else? Yes, I can see Joyce is saying, I'm very grateful and impressed with the first session we have had today. Can I share the link? I didn't see it all. Can I, if you people would like to join the class? Yes, please go ahead, Joyce. That is allowable. That is allowed. Go ahead, please, and share as many. Thank you very much for seeing that is also for somebody else who is also in need. Anyone else before I can ask Ruben to respond to Charity? Ruben, go ahead and respond to Charity, then we can go to the next one.
Okay, thank you very much, Charity, for that, and thank you, SK, for the opportunity. Yeah, Charity, the way I would like to respond to that question is, I think it goes back to what saving is as a definition. Saving as a definition is just about setting something aside. That's step number one, setting something aside. As you deal with the others, you consume, you get 10 mangoes, you eat 2, and you keep some aside for tomorrow. So there's a reason why you keep them. Either you eat tomorrow, or now, for money, you want to save money. For what purpose? Now, when you want to save money, remember what we said, money has got a value. If money has got a value, you can take that money and invest it in something that is appreciating in value. In other words, you start growing your savings. So saving becomes now bigger. You want to make them bigger. So you don't want just to take 1,000 and put it aside and it stays there. You want to take the 1,000. You have saved 1,000, yes. But what are you doing with the 1,000? Is it just sitting there idle? And if you go back to the Bible and remember, the guy was given 1. The 3 guys were given 1, 2, and 5. The surprising thing that all 3 of them they saved because they did not lose what they had. When the master came, each of them could produce what they were given. So they saved. But what happened to the guy who was given 1? He never invested, and see what happened to him. And that is the knowledge you will give. So if you have gone through your budget and say, I can save 5,000 shillings, and you go take a loan to buy a plot or to build a house or something, that is okay, because the 5,000 actually you're saving but you are investing it in a house by taking a mortgage. The second part which you spoke about is where people then go and take a mortgage, having not looked at do they have the ability to pay. The ability to pay actually is a saving because it's what remains after you have met your basic needs. So you meet your basic needs, then the balance is what you call your saving. Those savings then you can invest it in different instruments, be it a mortgage, be it buying something like a money markets or so forth. So we'll talk about all those things as we go through the program. But that's where a lot of people now go wrong because they jump into this desire. They're driven by the desire of having a house, but actually they have not looked at affordability. And affordability means that I've looked at what my income, I've removed all my daily needs. Now the balance, is it enough for me to be able to take a mortgage? If you do that, then you never have stress with the loans. But we'll go deeper into that during the discussion and what it drives us. The key thing is actually what Kitawi was saying. What drives us to do that? That is internal, inside us. It's not external. And that is like what God also saying that I will reward you according to your conduct. And I will also give you the examples again with it. What was the conduct of this man with one talent? If you think about it, remember what he was doing? Accusing God that he knew. Yeah, it was already inside him. He knew. So his mind was telling him God wants to reap, the master wants to reap where he did not sow. So that's some of the things you go deeper. But I hope that just gives you a broad understanding of why people find themselves there and what savings is. There's an element about how much should you save. I will talk about that because there's a lot of different school of thoughts in terms of how much should one save. People say 10 to 30%. For me, it's very simple. You save what you can spare, and that is driven by your needs. And we'll talk about those. How do you push those needs to the level that you can expand your savings? Even if you go to 70% and you're able to survive, the better, because then you're investing more. And what happens? You grow more money, and then you've got more money available. It means some of the things you denied yourself, you can bring them back on the table. That is enough for now. Otherwise, I'll finish the program. Then you'll never come back to us. Thank you, Cherish.
Thank you. That is well done. May I pass my apologies basically for one of our colleagues. I think they lost a loved one and they had to go. A few things was called as an emergency. So therefore, for retirement, that one you'll be able to get more specifically when you come on board. But allow me to take you what next so that we can be able to wind up this early. This is what is next. One of the question is that what is next after today? One is that we shall be able to begin our official classes on Tuesday, 21st May, which is basically next week. And of course, it has been scheduled. Sorry, I've taken it further than where I didn't want to. Yes, this it commences on May 21st. And therefore, those who have participated and they have not paid, or you are just weighing the waters, we appeal to you that if you think this is something you need to pursue, you commit with about 10,000 shillings. The entire course is about 30,000, but you can pay mdogo mdogo. You can pay commitment of first 10K, then the rest can be done thereafter, and the other one in the course of the course, which is about 12 weeks. And we are basically be having one lesson per week. Therefore, it is not burdensome. And it will be every Tuesday for the next 12 weeks. Then we will have a special purpose. For this purpose, we also have what we call the special purpose email address that will be available. This basically, it is for anyone who needs to take an action. Sometimes after you have listened to Ruben, and a bit of that I'll also be able to chip in. Where do I save my money? We'll be able now, for example, to be able to tell you where are the different instruments and what kind of rate of return that is available in the market. And if you need to take an action, there'll be an email that we are bringing up shortly where you can actually write to us and you'll be able to give you all the details in personalized manner. If it's about investment, again, you can easily be able to say, if you have an interest in real estate, we'll be able, actually, you can be able to ask any question and say, how do I invest? Where do I get the right properties? All those will actually be handled in the lessons. And if, for example, you are looking for any one of those, again, we have a special email where you can be able to say, I'm looking for this, or I'm interested for this information in this area, and there is somebody who will be actually willing to come and volunteer you and give you that information. Of course, there is also any clarifications, personalized coaching and mentoring. One of the things that are beyond the lessons is that we are actually putting together a financial clinic, or we call it a retirement academy, where we can be able to work with individuals. You'll be able to say, I'm retiring in the next 5 years. This is the money that I have. What is the best plan we can do that? And that is now we are putting together as a team to help you be able to make right decisions. Of course, we shall advise on the form of financial plans or which form it will take, but it will be shaped depending on the various needs that are coming up from each one of you. And of course, those are what we call the special purpose email. Anything to do with the savings, all areas to do, we would like to save, for example, in any of the money markets. We'll be able to tell you exactly what is available in the market, and it will be covered comprehensively, even in our 12 weeks program. We'll have a very depth analysis of the instruments of saving available in the market. You can take advantage of this. For investment queries and actions, we have put there as an investment, and it's good to write it down. And at Gifted Holdings, that is investment at giftedholdings.co.ke. Any queries regarding investments, either in treasury bills or treasury bonds, or you want to invest in land, or you want to invest in the other sector, we shall be able to give you the right direction and even link you with the right people who can give you the right advice. For risk management of the insurance, again, we shall be able to share greatly on the fundamentals. But if for some reason you have already done your assessment and you have realized that there are particular insurance features you would like, or a service you would like, and you are not too sure which insurance and what facility that they are offering, you write to us and we'll be able to get back to the industry players, and they'll give you options and they'll give you what you need to do. And for those who are just about to retire, or they have already retired, but they still have unanswered questions, we have an email there, retirement@giftedholdings.co.ke. We'll be able to have a very personalized now response to all those queries and what really fits your need. But just in case you have for general queries about the course, then you can actually write to simon@giftedholdings.co.ke. And this is why we have actually said that you don't need to go up to the 12 sessions for you to seek advice. You can easily be able to engage, even from right at this meeting. You can start engaging with us. And I believe you're not going to regret having joined us or logged in for this meeting, and even now joining us, and even telling others about it. You are now our true ambassadors. You have tested the pudding. You have actually tested what we are having. And it is my desire that you will tell others about it. And let's come on all learn. We are all not perfect, We have made very many mistakes, but we are asking that all of us, we should be able to do. I want to say thank you very much for listening to us. And I want to open it up just in case we have some few minutes, which we can be able to ask, that is heading to 8:30. Perhaps if there could be 5 questions, we could easily answer, but I'll be more than glad to bring to a close at 8:30 if there are no more questions. Please unmute yourself and ask questions on the chat, and we will be able to help you.